You're listening to The Mountain Spirit, a podcast of Christian Appalachian Project, where we share inspirational stories of faith, service, and compassion. I'm a firm believer that we're all connected by our shared humanity, and that finding that intersection sometimes just means having a conversation. Today we get to hear from Elmer Whitaker, President and CEO of Whitaker Bank. According to Justin Irving, writing about purpose and leadership, generational poverty emphasizes patterns where two or more generations continue in poverty within the family structure. But it's often characterized and reinforced by such causes as limited educational opportunities, poor health or ongoing battles with diseases, and an inability to access resources such as land, finances, and information in the pursuit of a sustainable living. Leaders are certainly not the only answer to addressing such issues and breaking the cycle of poverty, but leaders are important partners along the way. Today we'll get to hear about leaders in Kentucky who are working to identify and invest in transformational leadership in the region. They are working to empower community leaders to think intentionally about the role that they play in changing outcomes for many families impacted by generational poverty. I am so glad to have Elmer on the show today. Hi, Elmer. Welcome to the show.
Good to be here today. Thank you for having me, Tina.
Absolutely. So we're just going to dive right in, and just wondering if you could tell our audience a little bit about your family's connection to Kentucky and what it was like for you to grow up here.
Yeah, when I was born, my family lived in Avawam, Kentucky, which is a very small community in Perry County. And so my roots start in Perry County, and really learned the pride of the Appalachian region and the work ethic during that time period as I observed all of my hardworking neighbors and friends. You know, today I live in central Kentucky, but continue to have that pride of my Appalachian roots and a love for the entire state. I've lived in 5 counties in my life, all in Kentucky, and so I feel a strong connection to the state of Kentucky as a whole. I find that as I've moved around the state, the people are all very similar in the passions that we share and the pride that we take in everything that we do. I feel very connected to our state.
And so I believe I read that your dad and granddad was coal miners. Is that correct?
They were, yes. They started their work life was as coal miners. My grandfather started his own business at a young age, hand digging coal, and grew his operation after a few setbacks. But he persevered and was able to eventually build a successful coal operation. And that led to an investment in banks, where a good number of very good bankers that worked in the banking company for years. I grew up working in banking as my primary experience and worked in every area of the bank over the course of 36 years to be in the seat that I'm in today.
So can you tell me about your dad's legacy and what that means to you in Central and East Kentucky?
My family heritage of being connected to multiple industries that really are the fabric of our state, coal mining, the thoroughbred horse industry, and now certainly finance plays such a pivotal role in growth opportunities for our communities. That legacy for me is very rich and very strong, and one that I'm very proud to carry on.
Can you share why you think ethical leadership and collaboration are integral to the transformation of East Kentucky?
You know, we've had too many bad stories in the past, and growing up, I had friends whose parents were elected officials that were prosecuted for unethical behavior in their leadership roles. Witnessed corrupt business leaders over my career. And so for me, it's been very important that I'm very proud of the fact that for as many generations as I had the privilege of working with and knowing in my family, we've all shared one common thing, and that is that integrity is doing what's right even when it hurts you. And so anytime there's been an issue, that's one thing that I knew growing up that there would never be any discussion about options on if the right thing meant we had to sacrifice, we had to sacrifice. Because that's true integrity and owning up to mistakes that are made and making them right. Upholding your reputation is so critical, and that's one of the principal values that as I wanted to do something for my home area, that was one of the key drivers in forming Bright Leadership Kentucky program is that I wanted to share that you can be successful by doing what's right. You don't have to cut corners. You don't have to cheat people. You don't have to deceive people. You can actually uphold your moral integrity and have ethical leadership as long as you're willing to do what's right.
Yeah, that's very important. And we're going to dig a little bit more into Bright Kentucky. But before we talk about that, can you tell me how you got involved in Leadership Kentucky and why is that initiative where you chose to give your time and expertise?
Absolutely. I had an employee that had done Leadership Kentucky, and she thought it would be great for me to experience at the time, I was so focused on growing our business that I really felt I didn't have the time to do the program. But she was persistent and convinced me after 3 years that I should apply and go through the program. Her persistence is a key part of the story. But I did decide to do that in 2006 and was accepted into the program. And really, it opened my eyes to areas of our state that I had not had connection with and lived in or worked in, and really helped me even more appreciate the importance of giving back as we are productive, not after the fact, but while we're being productive citizens and working. It's so important to use our talents and share that with our communities and give back. And, that was so inspirational for me that I stayed very involved with Leadership Kentucky and was asked to join the board shortly after graduation and still serve on the board today. In 2018, I was chairman of the board, and it was during that 2018 year that it was actually back in 17 that I started thinking about wanting to do something to inspire others with leadership development in the Appalachian region. But I shared the vision with the Leadership Kentucky board in 2018 as I was coming into the chairmanship. They were very excited to be a part of that. And so we partnered together and started the new program. But the inspiration really came off the fact that over my lifetime, I had observed so many talented people, and I kept saying, the people of the mountains are so bright. All the brightest people I've ever met that have engineering minds, creative minds, just pure assets to society have come out of Appalachia. So the name was pretty easy. Everyone said, you keep saying bright. and I said, well, it's the brightest people I've ever known. And so the name was landed on pretty quickly that the program should be called Bright.
Stay tuned. We'll be right back.
Do you want to have fun this summer while saving money for college? Be a summertime superhero as a camp counselor with Christian Appalachian Project at one of our 2 beautiful camps. You'll have a great time and make a difference in the lives of kids in Eastern Kentucky. Our camp counselors have a blast outside boating, creating arts and crafts, and playing games with our campers. The kids love the activities, but what they remember most about camp are the volunteers who cared enough to spend their summer with them. While you're here, you'll earn an educational award that you can use towards college or trade school, and other benefits too, like a financial stipend. Email volunteer@chrisapp.org. That's volunteer@CHRISAPP.org or text 859-797-3059 to learn more. We can't wait to hear from you.
So can you tell us how like folks are chosen to be in Bright? And I know Leadership Kentucky has some other components too. Could you talk about those as well?
Sure. Leadership Kentucky serves citizens from all over the state and brings cohorts together each year with leaders from all over the state, and they travel the entire state doing the class there. So there is a lot of travel involved, but you do get to see every segment of our state through the core program. I think it's 7 sessions a month or 7 sessions a year for 7 months. They'll spend 3 days a month doing that. Bright is modeled after that. The difference for Bright is it is specifically for the 54 county Appalachian region, and it's for participants with an age range of 21 to 40 specifically, whereas the core program, Leadership Kentucky, does not have age restrictions. But in all of our programming, because we also have another statewide Elevate program with Leadership Kentucky that is for young professionals, similar to the Bright program. It's for participants from all over the state. And then we have the new Executive to Kentucky program that's a 1-day immersion into everything that is Kentucky for people that have moved to the state to take a job here. So those 4 programs have been developed. The core program has been around, celebrating 40 years. Bright, we're on our 6th year. This year will be our 6th cohort. And so people from the Appalachian region can go to Leadership Kentucky's website and fill out applications for any of those programs. But with Bright, the application process for this year is closing now, so we'll be looking into the 7th class for applications on that. You know, for Bright, it is dedicated to the 54 county Appalachian region, ages 21 to 40. That involves 5 months of training, 3-day sessions, 1 per month, traveling around the region, 5 different locations for those 3-day sessions, so that we get a better understanding. So many of our neighbors in our Appalachian regions have never traveled to other areas within the region, and it's such a incredible networking and educational opportunity to see the things that are working in other towns, so that you can take that back and add value to your community without having to reinvent the wheel.
Yep. Matter of fact, that was I was thinking that like when you were envisioning having this program specifically for Appalachia leaders, what were you imagining the impact would be, and what were you hoping that the impact of a program like this would be in Eastern Kentucky?
My ultimate goal was to inspire people to get more engaged, much like I did coming out of the Leadership Kentucky core program, so that they would actually take more of their free time and invest it back into not just themselves, but to their entire communities. And we are seeing those results. We've had a high percentage of our participants that have received promotions in their current employment, or taken bigger jobs, or run for public office. We've seen several that have successfully taken leadership roles in either city, county government, or school boards, and just every fabric of our society is being touched by the graduates of the Bright program.
That's awesome. Can you you just talked about a little bit of some of the successes there. So when you all are working with the participants, how do you get them to have those hard conversations or think through the hard things or maybe issues that are facing Appalachia, and helping them to figure out how to advocate, maybe thinking outside the box, or as you said, maybe finding something that another county is already doing? How do you all help equip them to do that?
We have a great curriculum that touches on a lot of different topics. We start by helping our participants understand themselves better. So many people even if they know they're a leader, they're not sure what their leadership style is. and they're not sure how to communicate with people that have different leadership styles. And so we work on those skill development techniques so that we can better also lead people with different personality types from ours and have a better understanding of people's differences and how to appreciate those. We also take that and then weave that through all of our other topics and trainings on, how jobs are created, how community development enhancement occurs, how grants are achieved, and other financial resources that can be tapped into for project management, how to navigate government in Frankfurt, political relations to get projects going, regional topics like substance abuse disorder that has plagued our region, but the work that's being done in the recovery ready communities, which is a program that came out of Bright. Participants of Bright wrote that legislation and got it passed in Frankfurt. So we now have recovery ready communities. Healthcare, childcare, education, tourism, the arts. And then we also talk about team building and networking and the qualities of great leadership. And we really focus a lot of energy on the fact that at the end of the day, when you put all those things together, you have to have action. Without action, it's all just talk. It's all vision. And I love vision and I love talking about it. But at the end of the day, I like to see action.
Yep, absolutely. Can you tell me a story that gives you hope about the future of Appalachia and Eastern Kentucky in particular?
Oh, wow. I've got several. Number one, for me, one of the things that I really notice everywhere I go now, I travel throughout the Appalachian region fairly constantly, and I'm not in a meaningful meeting or discussion that I see less than 4 to 5 Bright graduates that are representing their communities, their companies, whether that be for-profit or nonprofit. And that's so inspiring to me because it's showing results. I'm a results-driven person. I like to see that there is some measurable success coming from the work that we're doing. And I see that on a constant basis. When the terrible floods hit our region, there were so many critical community regional meetings where we brought leaders from multiple communities together so that we could pool our resources and get through that tough time. And we're still getting through it. The media's gone, but we're still working on it. There's still a lot of work to be done. But it was so inspiring to me to see 5 Bright individuals that had taken on leadership roles to represent their communities to get through that. And, and like I said, I see that in everything through every organization that's working in the area. I've been very blessed to get to know so many great people that have gone through that program and go back to their everyday jobs and take all the lessons learned and share it with others. So I hope it's a domino effect of essentially that even those that don't get the opportunity and time to go through Bright, my overall vision for it is that they will be impacted in a positive way by the ones that are privileged enough to get the time to go through the program.
Stay tuned. We'll be right back.
Your generosity has a direct and positive impact in the lives of people in need in Appalachia every day. It is the unwavering support of faithful friends like you that make this work possible. Many of our supporters are beginning to plan and envision what kind of legacy they want to leave to support the causes that are near and dear to their hearts. CAP is happy to provide a safe and easy experience for people to create a will and support CAP through non-cash gifts. Through our partnership with Free Will, CAP offers our donors the ability to create a will online and alter it at no charge. Our partnership with Free Will also includes their Smart Giving Suite, which allows donors to give through their IRA, donor advised funds, and stock online, in addition to creating a will for free. In recent years, Appalachia has faced unrelenting challenges, including the pandemic, inflation, and back-to-back natural disasters. You can make a life-changing impact and leave a legacy of hope in Appalachia. To learn more about non-cash giving opportunities, please visit christianapp.org/more-ways-to-give.
You already talked about how you came up with the name of the program, and that you see all these bright folks who are gifted and leading in their communities. But we know a lot of times Appalachia gets characterized by a lot of stereotypes. So there are people who've never visited Appalachia, never visited Eastern Kentucky. What is the stereotype that you would like to see corrected, and that maybe you hope will be corrected by the success of Bright?
Well, probably at the top of that list is just an understanding of just how incredibly intelligent we are as a people. And, our lingo and accents have been critiqued and criticized in such a negative context in the mainstream media of the country. And how shallow. And but I always encourage people. I moved a lot and traveled a lot, and today I'm often told that when I travel, people don't know where I'm from. I have a neutral accent, but I wish I still had my accent. And I tell people all the time, don't lose your accent. It's great. Cherish it. Be proud of it. Don't let people, tell you that you're not as intelligent because your accent isn't like theirs. And I think that's such a critical thing because, like I said, the brightest minds that I've ever encountered came out of the Appalachian region. So, and they all had great accents that I love and cherish to this day. So I would love to just, educate the public as a whole in the country on the idea that, that it's very how shallow it is to judge people based just on the accent and the dialect that they use. That would be my number one. There's so many others, though, that, the stereotypes of everything from barefoot and, what have you, and all those things, the cultural things, our art styles, our artistic style, our music, our creativity within so many genres of music that I think get missed of the diversity of our talents. I'm a music lover, so I really appreciate just the fact that we've had so much talent come out of the Appalachian region in a multitude of genres. We're not just in one genre, and I think that's fantastic.
We just got back from Renfro Valley and kind of walking through the Kentucky Music Hall of Fame, and that's exactly what you see. You see country and blues and bluegrass, and it's just like amazing to think of all of that coming from one place, but so different and also interconnected in a lot of ways, I'm sure.
Well, and I have to say a shameless plug for the Bright program is that the director of the Renfro Valley Music Hall of Fame is a Bright graduate. So
you can do your shameless plug any day. You have to celebrate those, because that means that those programs are working, and that you really are seeing leaders emerge in a variety of sectors throughout the state. You talk about stereotypes, but you really have a legacy in your family. When we think of coal miners, we don't normally think of business people. And you talked about your dad and your grandfather, like not just like working a job or starting a business. And I'm sure that starting a business means equaling jobs for other people in the community. And not just that, but Whitaker Bank, obviously, then having Whitaker Foundation, which pours into other things. So I wonder if you would take a little bit of a humble brag on the Whitaker Foundation, which we hadn't talked about, and how the foundation is obviously helping to invest in other initiatives to make those things bring those things to pass in Kentucky as well.
Sure. That's, over the years, we've just always believed in giving back to the communities that we work and live in, and the ones that neighbor us and that we touch in other ways. But we decided as a family that we needed to have a better conduit. And my grandfather was, very critical in creating opportunities within our family. As you mentioned, coal mining it's at the core of the Appalachian history, and it is a hard job. It's hard work, and that was part of the fabric that was kind of woven into me growing up, and that hard work is a good thing. I still love physical labor to this day. I do work on my farm with great passion because I love that. But what my grandfather achieved was opportunity and educational opportunities for the family. With his success, he ensured that we had. I'm a first generation college graduate. My sisters and I have that pride of being first generation college graduates. But those opportunities didn't exist for our family before. And so the hard work that was done gave us choices in life on what we wanted to learn about, what we wanted to do as careers, whether that be a blue collar style or a white collar, or like me, a hybrid, where I like both. But it gave us choices. And, choices and opportunities is what it's all about. And that's one of the things that I noticed that was kind of missing was I don't think opportunities are missing. I think awareness of opportunities is often missing. And so, taking what I learned over my years of seeing the opportunities that I had and the ones that I really sought out and to a point of total engagement, commitment, and dedication to, those were the things that led me to success. But when people didn't recognize an opportunity or they didn't commit to the opportunity, that's when I saw people fail. And so those principles are at the core of what we try to teach through the Bright program, is to help people recognize an opportunity and then seize it with passion. Take their natural God-given talents and put them to work on that. And that will lead to success. But you do have to be committed. You have to be dedicated. You have to have determination and resolve. And at the end of the day, you have to believe in what you're doing. And if you do those things and you do it with hard work and a total commitment, unwavering commitment, you can't let the tough days make you change course too quickly. Because, you have to have a plan and stick to the plan through tough times. But I'm seeing that, anytime I've seen people do that, I see success. And that's what we hope to copy as we continue to go forward with it. So the foundation wants to support those causes. Our foundation was formed ultimately so that we can help financially support good causes throughout the region. We are a faith-based family, so we love to support fundamental Christian principles in organizations. That's something that we look to do. And we also look to put the majority of our support in the Appalachian region because that's our heritage. And so our foundation has a very nice focus on creating opportunities for people in the Appalachian region, and we do some work in the Central Kentucky region. But the lion's share of our work is in our home place of Appalachia.
The lion's share of our work is also in Appalachia for Christian Appalachian Project. And as we wrap up, we always end with the same question for our guests. The mission statement for Christian Appalachian Project is building hope, transforming lives, and sharing Christ's love through service in Appalachia. Hope, transformation, love, and service. Of these four principles, which one resonates with you the most when you think of Appalachia?
I have to say, over all of those, I would have to say love. I just think we have such a big-hearted heritage that has been passed through generations of every family that I know from the Appalachian area. It has been one of our holdbacks and hindrances, and at times, some of our young people don't seek out educational opportunities because they have so much love for their family. They don't want to leave them, which is why we're hoping to enhance more educational opportunities closer to home. And that's projects that I support as well is bringing educational opportunities closer to home so people don't have to make that tough decision to leave. But there is no doubt that love is strong for people in general. We're so caring of more people have fought and died in wars fighting for America's freedom from the Appalachian region of our country than all other regions combined. And it just really speaks to how much love the Appalachian area has for all people. And I see it on a regular basis, and I'm very proud of it.
Awesome. That's a great way to conclude our show. Elmer, thank you so much for your time today. I really appreciate you being on the show.
It's been a great pleasure, and love talking with you.
Our guest today has been Elmer Whitaker, President and CEO of Whitaker Bank. We hope you've enjoyed the show and will check out next week's episode. Tell your friends to check us out too. You can follow the work of Christian Appalachian Project on all social media channels. Find the show online at christianapp.org/podcast or anywhere you get your favorite podcasts. Be sure to subscribe so that you never miss an episode, and we'll see you next week.